But I'm telling you this, people, because I've learned a lot over the years. There's been people that the Lord tell me to stop fooling with. And then somehow they'll maneuver their way back in. And I pray about it. Lord, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, Lord? Test the spirits, pray a few times. Sometimes I get answers like this. This has happened to me recently. This has happened to me recently. I prayed about something. Let them back in. Things hit the fan. Cut them back out. It's simple. Now, I talked to something about proving you. The Lord proves you. Because the Lord don't believe in us cutting people off totally. There's no such thing. Now, there is a such thing, but you got to understand what I'm saying. We are taught to be forgiving and try to be forgetful. Because the thing is, you cannot forget some things that some people have done to you. You can forgive them, but you can't forget. And then, like, some people may have done something to you, and you're trying to hold a grudge. And the Lord trying to teach you not to hold grudges. Help them. It helps your character. And then the person will start seeing your character. They're like, okay, I know Houston will help me. Or I know you will help me. But I know Houston will also say no. Or I know you will say no sometimes. Because God is setting it up that way. You understand? One thing I realized, when the Lord set it on your mind to help certain people, you better. You better. I'm telling you straight up. But just because you helping them, you don't want them to trust in you. But God has set it up for you to help certain people in your life. And when I say your life, I'm saying wherever you go. I talked about who your neighbor is. It's anybody. Anybody the Lord wants you to assist. He give people chances, choices, just like he give you chances and choices. But he does not want you to place your trust in man. Now, it's another man or woman that you shouldn't place trust in. I'm looking at him right now. When I'm filming this video, I'm looking at that man. Houston. I can't start trusting myself. I done been there, done that. Got to the point where I feel like my hands have done this. My hands have saved me. I did this. And soon after, I lost this. I lost that. I got broke down. God humbled me from trusting in who? Me. I don't trust me. So you got to think about it. When you get to a point where you don't even trust yourself, which is how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to trust the Holy Spirit, trust Jesus, and trust God. You're on the right path. Because you're looking at yourself as an imperfect creature. That ain't always right. That don't always do the right thing. So you trusting in the Lord, hey, I need you to help me do the right thing. Because sometimes I don't. You're on the right path. You are. You know, I was watching a show. Like in Korea, and a lot of Asian countries, status is everything. You try to build a name for yourself. You try to work your way up the corporate ladder and do this and that. And you get prideful and boastful. Not all, but some. You learn to trust in your own hands and trust in people to get you where you want to go. More so yourself. Start getting these degrees, learning all this and that, and trusting in you. That's arrogancy. You can become arrogant, thinking you're perfect. Then once you start thinking you're perfect, then you start doing things that you want to do, things that are not pleasing to the Lord, because you're trusting in yourself. I'm trying to tell y'all some things. Been there, done that, sometimes still do it. Trust in me. You know, I ask the Lord for protection from myself more than I ask for protection from other people. You might want to learn to do it. Because my lust and my heart can be sometimes evil, sinister, evil intentions. Like when he asked people, he was like, I haven't sinned before. When you looked at a woman, you sinned and lusted after her in your heart. Right? How many people are guilty of that? I know some of y'all be like, I'd never do that. Yeah, I believe that, never. Because I do. I'm trying not to. Because sometimes before you even thought anything, you didn't already thought something. Before you even thought it. It's like instant. It's like, psh. Before you, whoa. Oh, Lord. And you don't think you need forgiveness? You don't think you need the Lord's Prayer every day of your life? You can trespass against somebody in your mind. Well, I want to slap the taste out your mouth. You said it in your mind. Even though you didn't physically do the act, that's still a sin. Right in their head. You know, the world's trying to come up with something where they can read your thoughts and know what you're thinking. But they're going to use it against you. The Lord said, bring every thought into captivity. That means, as soon as you think it, retrieve it. Ask for forgiveness about it. It takes a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But the world is trying to, if you think it, so let's think about this. If they enact this law, you can be at work and a new handsome man or a beautiful woman start working there. And you're married or not married. And you're like, woo, before you knew it, you'd have thought something deceitful. Now, what the world is trying to do is take those same thoughts and fire you for them. It doesn't work that way with God. He know you. He know your hearts. I know what Jesus said, but I'm gonna tell you something about action. When did he say sin is produced? When is sin produced? When you're drawn away by your own lust that resides in your heart and soul. So you see it, then you pursue it, then you do it. So it's a process. It's a step process. You see it, you do it, you pursue it, then you do it. That's when sin is produced. The thought of the sin is still sin. But you cannot go through with it. And that goes to every aspect of your life. Let's say, like, I'm a mover. And I go in somebody's house and be like, oh, that's a big 85-inch TV. I wouldn't mind having that. Now, the thought process then cross your mind. Now, the next step. You got two steps. You bring it in bondage. It ain't mine. Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not steal. Do you understand? These things start focusing in your head. You're like, you know what? It ain't mine. If the Lord want me to have a big TV, I get one. Or he'll give me one. I don't need to take theirs. But then now, you're packing it up. You're looking at it. It's like, oh, this nice. I'm finna hide this. Now you hid it. You ain't did it yet. Now you put it on the truck. It's hid somewhere. You know you want it. Now you got another step. Take it. Now if you don't reach that last step, you passed. Because you resisted. It might have took a little longer than normal, but you resisted. Let's take adultery. Now, I'm saying why you shouldn't trust yourself now. I know you're like, why you going off the deep end? No, I'm saying why you shouldn't trust yourself. You need the Lord. You see a beautiful woman. You're married. She's actually attracted to you too. She actually interested in you. And she shows it. She flirts with you at work or wherever you at. Every time you come around, she buy you food. Then she's like, you want to go to dinner or lunch? You probably been to lunch with her before. You didn't sin by going to lunch. You're hungry. Let's go to lunch. So you go to lunch. Then you start talking. You're flirting back. You're saying things you shouldn't say. That's it. The fact you married. You got a husband or a wife. Think about it now. I'm going to tell you a movie before I go on. You ever saw War Room? The husband was about to commit the act of adultery with a woman, beautiful woman. Her wife was praying. But the man was a God-fearing man at one point in time, but he fallen away. So she was praying. And all things went wrong. And he was at the dinner, ready to take her to the hotel room or whatever. And something happened. He got sick. He didn't do it. You passed the final test. You might have, all the way up to that point, you was failing. Then you got there. Bam, that's actually, I just ended the story of what I was finna tell you. When you continue on in sin and finish the process. So what I'm telling you this is, our own hearts and can't be trusted at times. But God can. Now think about the story. If God was meaning, if he heard that little still voice, or if he's prone or your prayers are growing more powerful, he can stop all kind of things. Now it goes to trusting in God and not your husband or your wife. But the thing is, some people are weaker than you. Your husband or your wife may be weaker than you. And they might go through with it. Then they committed adultery. Not your fault at all. You did your part. You sent it to God. Now it's up to them. I tell people the same. Prayers go up, help comes down. Sometimes nobody listens to the help. They go on and keep going. And then they go on forward and they're punished. Now you got to live with that. That conscience. If you didn't go through it, you ain't got to live. You're like, shoot, I'm glad I dodged the bullet there. But once you take the bullet, now you got to deal with it. And the repercussions that come with it. It might even lead to divorce. Because we got the right to divorce a person over adultery. You got the right. I don't care what some of these preachers are telling you. You think God wants you to stay in an adulterous relationship? But you got STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, hearts involved. Now you got two parties vouching for one person. Now you're gonna end up on Snapped. You're gonna be a documentary. Get out the situation. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna take you from my perspective. If you're willing to go out there and sleep with somebody else other than me, deal with the consequences. What's one of the consequences? You might not have me no more. I ain't got to deal with it. I don't have to. I forgive you, but I ain't got to deal with it. Because now you done let some other heart come in. Now we competing for one heart. I ain't got time. If God is a jealous God, guess what? I'm a jealous husband. So now think in regards to the trust issues. When you put your trust in somebody and they violate your trust, are you gonna still keep doing the same thing? God ain't gonna even let you sometimes. You think if you commit adultery on your husband or your wife, that God's gonna keep giving you the good things that come from marriage? Your husband might stop giving you random boxes of candy. Your wife might stop running your bath water. And you like, baby, you don't do the things you used to. And you wondering why. And they don't even know the reason why. They just stopped doing it. And then come to find out, there was a reason why you stopped doing it. But the Lord saw something that you didn't see. And sin is never rewarded. Evil is never rewarded. Oh, I'm trying to tell y'all something now. A lot of y'all mad because your husband and your wives ain't doing what they used to do because you're doing something you aren't supposed to do. Kids too. Bosses too. This rule applies in every aspect of your life. Just telling y'all something now. What do you think? You think I'm messing with you? I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. Trust God. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Evil inside, evil around you. You use this prayer, he will deliver you from evil. You better believe it, though. So if somebody doing things that come against you, that's evil. He'll move you, but if you trust in them, and I'm gonna tell you something about that love thing. You can be in love with an evil person, and you'll let love override your discernment because you love them. Oh, they'll change, but you trust them. The Bible said you don't know if you're gonna save your wife or your husband. Thinking you can change somebody, that means you can trust them. I'm gonna change them so you trust them. They cheated on you. I can change, you can trust them. You set yourself up for failure. Because I'm putting it like this. When I quote the Lord's Prayer, and I say it, I mean it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I love you. Do you hear me? I don't care if I love you to death.
There's a speed trap ahead.
If you commit evil against me, I want the Lord to do what's best. Remove me, fix the quest, fix the problem, or whatever he do best. Because I want deliverance from evil. Don't you want deliverance from evil? Or you want to stay in the evil situation? Come on now. That's why you need to stop putting your trust in man. It'll make it easier for you to get out of evil situation. Make it so easy. How can you just walk away from something like that? Like this? The Lord is my present help in time of need. That's how I can just walk away from a love. That's why I can just walk away from a loved one. Do you understand? But let me tell you this now. If I'm gonna tell you one part, I'm gonna tell you another part. God give people time and I said, prove you. You ain't just finna walk away from the first mistake. It takes time sometimes. Because God wants to give you time to get right and give them time to get right. And if he don't see nothing happening, because he see way past you, he make a change accordingly. Some people love you and act like they don't. That's why you still think about them. Oh, that's a whole nother sermon. There's a whole nother lesson right there. You know. Because some things in your heart never go away. Even though the Lord said don't trust in your heart, but some things in your heart and your soul never go away. You ever notice how you can forget about some people and not some? There's a reason behind that. The Bible said test the spirits. If some of that stuff, that energy, in regards to that person still lingering around, it's a reason behind it. Because when the Lord decides to take it away, it's a done deal for the time frame. But some people linger on your heart because God has a plan. And he's telling you, even then, don't trust in that heart. Trust in me. There is a reason why you're thinking that way, but trust me. Trust me. I'm going to end with the story of Samson. Samson was in love with a Philistine woman, and his people were like, his mother and father were like, why would you get a woman of your own kind? They said they never knew the reason Samson loved this, because God sought occasion with the Philistines. That's the reason why Samson thought that way. He couldn't control it. It was the Lord's will. Sometimes you can't control it. You know why? Because it's the Lord's will. Have a blessed day.